welcome to another video, and today I want to share some of my fall plans, what we're going to do on the channel this fall. But alas, I have plans for the channel this fall, what we're going to do. One thing that I want to bring up right away is the last couple of years, I've really not done a good job with Horror Fest. It's one of my favorite things, and I think just from the process of like moving and getting settled in a new house, getting used to a new schedule, getting used to, what you guys don't know behind the scenes is like when I moved back in 2021, when we bought this house and I moved in, I not only was getting used to a new schedule, living with my girlfriend for the first time, but also I got a completely different job. And I started that. It was like a 180 from what I was doing before. And so a lot of that brought on a lot of issues. You know, that was 2021, 2022. There was the issue of like just feeling tired all the time and not wanting to do anything. Obviously, that's when I found out I'm diabetic. And I honestly, I don't even remember what the fuck I did this year for Horror Fest, because I feel like I've just treated it so poorly. Well, not this year. So this year, I am going to do as much streaming as I can in the month of October. I will lay out the actual dates and times and plans for that as we get closer to the end of September. But I will tell you right now that some of the games that I plan on streaming, one of them in particular, I'm extremely excited to finally, for the first time on the channel ever, be able to stream this game. It's a game I've not played since I was in fucking high school, and that is Eternal Darkness: Sanity's Requiem. I finally got a copy. You guys have seen the videos about it and about the little card that I got. I am super excited to finally play that game for the first time in 15 fucking years. So we're going to take a look at that for sure. I'm not guaranteeing a full playthrough. I will say I'm not guaranteeing a full playthrough on any of these games because these will not be nightly streams. There's no way I can do that anymore. Like the first couple of years when I did Horror Fest, that was a completely different time. I was working part-time at GameStop. I had nothing but time on my hands and I was able to do streams every night. That's not the case anymore, but I will be doing a lot more streams. We are going to take a look at that. We are going to take a look again at Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain. I love looking at that game. We looked at it last Horror Fest. I want to look at it again. Although this time, we might actually look at it on real hardware because I own a copy now again. That was one of my pickups this year at MGC, so I'm excited to look at that. Another thing that will be going on during the month of October for Horror Fest is I will be doing a complete review. I'm not going to stream it, but I'll be doing a complete review of Bloober Team's Silent Hill 2 remake. I don't know what to expect out of that project. It's not in the best place right now, so we're going to see. I'm cautiously optimistic about it because I did like Bloober Team's last game. So I feel like they weren't the worst people to choose for this, but again, it's Silent Hill 2. It's one of the most beloved horror games of all time outside of a Resident Evil series. So, yeah, we're going to see, but I will be doing a full review of that. I also plan on doing some other fun horror videos around like lists for best movies. I might even do a list of favorite horror books, which is kind of crazy for this channel for sure. But we're going to take it. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to try. My goal this year is to try and treat Horror Fest. This will be the 8th year that I've done Horror Fest, and I want to treat it properly because it is my favorite. It is one of my favorite times of the year. I love month of October. I love Halloween. I love horror movies. I love all of that shit. So we're definitely going to be going a lot bigger this year with Horror Fest than I have in years past. Secondly, as far as like games that I have planned to review on the channel, I'm going to level with you guys and I'm going to be real. 2024 has been a fucking crazy year for video games. And, you know, I think about this all the time. I talk about this problem, or it's not even a problem, but I talk about this issue behind the scenes with, you know, my fellow castmates from the podcast or, you know, other friends that I have. But like gaming right now is in a real rut, I believe. And it has for the last, you know, couple years been in kind of a rut, but it's been worse than ever in 2024. And when you bleed in the politics and the political aspect of things, and it gets tiring. You get tired of it, man. I'm tired of hearing about Gamergate 2. I'm tired of hearing about, one side of things going, oh, you shouldn't play this game because they changed this aspect of it, and then the other side, side of the fence going, well, fuck you, and I'm tired of it. So as far as the games, I'm not I don't know if I'm promising any reviews this year. I will tell you right now the games I do plan on looking at, and I will do my first impressions, because I've changed focus the last couple years from doing full reviews to first impressions of games. Whereas Silent Hill I will do a full review of, but I'll also do first impressions. I will be doing first impressions of some of the games I do plan on picking up. One of the biggest releases for me this year, and I cannot wait for this. I'm going to be doing a full first impressions of it, and that is, of course, Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, which, let's be real, it's a remake of the original Dead Rising. It looks incredible. I cannot wait for it. It is my most anticipated game of the year, which is crazy because it is a remake. I cannot wait to play this thing. It comes out in the middle of September. I am so beyond psyched. It's something I never thought would happen. And I'll tell you, if you're out there like me and you're a huge Dead Rising fan, buy this fucking game, because I want to see a Dead Rising 5 so incredibly bad. I can't wait to dive into that. I can't wait to feel like I did when I played the original Dead Rising and really dove into it 18 years ago. So I can't wait for that. That is probably my number one most anticipated. Guaranteed I will be playing that. As far as everything else, like, I was planning on doing Avowed. Obviously, Avowed now is pushed till February. If Indy comes out this year, yeah, I'll definitely take a look at Indiana Jones. As far as third-party stuff goes, like, I'm not interested in Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm not going to be checking that out. It's not even like, people have asked me, like, well, the controversy. Like, it's not even the controversy. I'm not really into samurai stuff to begin with, so I look at that game and it doesn't interest me at all. So I'm probably not going to be checking that out. But I will say, for stuff that I've reserved, I am going to totally be checking out East 10 Nordics. I really need to sit down and play East 9. I think I said I was going to be doing that before I went on break, and I just hasn't happened. At some point too, I also want to talk about Dragon's Dogma 2. That's what I have been playing behind the scenes a lot. Tremendous game. I will be looking at the Dragon Quest 3 remake. That is another big one that's coming out this fall that I do plan on looking at. And I will be doing something. I might actually stream some of it. Zelda Echoes of Wisdom for the Switch. Behind the scenes, I actually just picked up a new grip controller to play my Switch portably. To try and get myself motivated. Like, man, I got all these Switch games I just have collected over the years that I haven't played, because I'm waiting for a Switch 2, because I know they'll be backwards compatible. I know they're going to play better on a new Switch, but I do want to look at this new Zelda game. I think it looks awesome. I really should finish Tears of the Kingdom, but I am going to look at it. So that's another one for sure. But like, everything else is just kind of up in the air, because that's kind of how the fall is this year. It really feels like a lot of game releases are right now just up in the air. So we're going to play it by ear as far as that goes. As far as movie reviews go, I can tell you with 100% certainty I will be watching and reviewing Joker Folie à Deux, which I will probably do both a short video short review of it, and I will do a long form review, because it is one of the probably my most anticipated movie of the year. Beetlejuice is another big one for me. Obviously, we continue the trend of bringing Michael Keaton back, so and I'm super excited for Beetlejuice. I think it actually looks really good. I have high hopes for that. And yeah, like, as far as like the only other really big movie I can tell you 100% certainty I will see in the theater, I will review, because I cannot wait. The trailer was fantastic. Is Nosferatu. I cannot wait for that. That right there would be my most anticipated if it was actually coming out around Halloween. I hate that it's coming out on Christmas Day. I really wish they'd look at it and go, we should probably put that out Halloween, but here we are. And then final updates I want to talk about really quick here, it would be the podcast. So as far as the podcast goes, nothing's changing. We're having a lot of fun doing the video form of the podcast. Yes, is it more time consuming behind the scenes for me? Absolutely. It's also been a learning curve for me, because I'm not used to editing large files like that. I mean, these are I think when I'm done editing a podcast episode, which our podcast episodes are roughly about 3 hours long, it's like 30 gigs. And this is not 4K footage. This is 1080p. So I couldn't even imagine. I wouldn't be able to do it right now on the current computer that I have and use for editing. I wouldn't be able to do it. So, but one thing I will say is we are going to once again have friend of the show, Ryan D. Miller, on sometime in September. I don't know what date yet. We're still working that out, but he has reached out, wants to be on again. Really looking forward to that. Always a great time when we have him on the show. And other than that, like nothing's going to change with the podcast. We're going to be going until the end of the year. We'll do what we always do is we'll be taking our month-long break at the end of the year for the holidays. More about that will come out as we get closer to it. But yeah, nothing changing there. So I love doing the podcast. It's actually, honestly, it's reinvigorated me around the channel a lot. It's something I always wanted to do. You guys know I've talked about in the past, like the origins of the podcast were very much like my sadness for seeing the Giant Bombcast kind of end the way that I knew it. Obviously, I know the Bombcast is still going on, but it's not what the Bombcast was. And that was a lot of my idea behind doing this podcast. And we've had a blast doing it. We're almost 70 episodes deep. So, and we do it bi-weekly. So, yeah, I'm excited. With that being said, and I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but we have been talking about behind the scenes. We are going to be doing one other thing that I bring to the channel, that basically we're going to be doing. I forget what we came up with a name for it. I don't remember what the name of it was off the top of my head. It's in a Google Doc. I'm not going to bring up right now, but we're going to be putting out little half-hour segments, probably starting in September, where we're going to take lists of subjects and stuff and kind of go through and argue and defend, so for example, like what our favorite systems are, what our favorite console generation is, what our top 5 NES, top 5 Super NES, and so on, that kind of stuff, to kind of have more of an engaging and interaction and a bigger conversation around retro in a way that people really seem to enjoy with our podcast. So, and again, if you have never checked out Podcast 572, it is usually up every other Saturday. I usually have it up every other Saturday. We record every other Friday. So, always look for that on Saturday. Otherwise nothing's changed with the podcast. So those are kind of the plans for the holiday. And then as always, I always take a pretty decent break around December, and I'll come back at the end of January, and that's when I do my game of the year stuff. I always do it at the end now because that gives me time to catch up on anything that I feel like I might have missed that I want to talk about. So, and we'll be doing that always, end of January. So that's what you can look forward to on the channel. But I'm back. You're going to be seeing more video content a little bit more frequently now that we're kind of we're getting out of the dog days of summer here and kind of into the fall. So as always, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And until next time.